Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the BFG Podcast. Today I am here with Jonathon to talk about some of the women's Phoenix signings that we have missed over the last month and weeks. So Jonathon is going to tell us about them now.
So yeah, we have missed a couple of weeks of video recording, but that's okay. There's been it's been a little bit quiet with most of the women's team being overseas, or not most, but a lot of the women's team actually being away at the Under-20s World Cup. So we've talked about that a bit. So there are three key signings with the women's Knicks team who we haven't talked about yet or haven't discussed. So they are goalkeeper Brianna Edwards, midfielder Isabel Gomez, and another midfielder, Chloe Knott. Chloe's on a 2-year signing. Brianna and Izzy are on 1-year signings. So really adding some great depth to the squad. And all three of them re-signing from a very successful, depending on how you look at it, foundation year last year. What are you thinking, Blake?
I'm happy that they got multi-year deals because I'm quite disappointed that they haven't done more of them. Like, I would have expected, a few more of the younger ones to get 2 years rather than one. So that's been a bit disappointing that they, and even Betsy Hassett should have got a 2, and she got a 1. So I think she got a 1.
Yeah.
So that's really disappointing. That they seem to be very picky on who they want to give 2s.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a recurring problem with not just the women's, with the men's equivalent as well. They seem to be very hesitant to give more than 2-year deals, except for their favourite players.
Yeah, I think although I do think like with the women's team, there's a different range. Like there's the girls or the ladies come from different situations, and that the likes of Brianna Edwards, she's only 19, and we did have a number of players who are under 20, so those players are thinking about what do they want to be doing in the future. It's quite likely they could end up playing college football or playing overseas, so they don't want to tie themselves down too much to one squad to begin with. So that's kind of another viewpoint on it.
I agree that if we take it year by year, and the criticism I have with the men's team as well, we don't gel very well because they don't know who's coming there.
Yeah.
It becomes a cultural problem as well because they can't build a team culture because they don't want to get close to a player because they don't know if they're going to stay.
Mm-hmm. Interesting viewpoint. Hey, just speaking of viewpoint, about the women's team. Now we've got these three, Brie, Izzy, and Chloe. So they're basically all into their second year. So that culture thing isn't there so much. But we've now the women's Knicks team's got 4 quality midfielders with Izzy, Alyssa, Chloe, and Betsy Hassett. So there's going to be some competition to see who's going to be on the pitch, which is fantastic, which is a great problem to have.
And some of those under 20 girls did fantastic in the World Cup. I would, if they're going for the 3 goalkeeper model, I'd like that girl that played in the World Cup to be signed.
Murphy, she was great. Yeah.
So if they're looking at her, she would be a good goalkeeper for the future. I like her, and have we got to sign that girl that scored that worldie? The curving goal from the halfway in the side.
Charlotte Lancaster, the one who that last game when she struck the ball from outside the penalty box and curved it in around the goalkeeper. Yeah, I've got so much time for Charlotte Lancaster. I think she's bloody awesome.
We signed her, right?
Yep, Charlotte plays for us. Hang on. No, I don't think she's not signed yet, but she did play for us last year, and I'm hoping, beyond hope, that she re-signs for this year's season, because Charlotte last year was she didn't have a lot of game time because she was competing for one of those midfield spots, and so she spent a lot of time on the bench. But then, at the under-20s World Cup, she really showed that she can score, and she was I'm very impressed with Charlotte Lancaster. I think she's going to be a go-ahead player in the future.
And that last player we were going to talk about, unless I missed the second one, was Chloe, right?
Yeah, Chloe. So Chloe is almost she's kind of the one of the older players in the squad. Brings a lot of balance to the team, which is fantastic. And she's played in the US. She played in the college football system over there. She brings some natural skills, some speed, and she's trying to get into the Ferns in 2024. So when her citizenship switches across, I would be looking for a good season from her as well.
And just a bit of football fan news. They announced in the last 24 hours of filming this video that they're going to be off to the States in the next week or so. And there's been a change of eligibility with one of the Matildas coming to play for the Ferns as well.
Oh yeah, India Paige Riley is she's made the switch across, and she is a baller. India Paige Riley she's one to watch out for. I think she's pretty awesome.
What do you think about the Ferns expanding into the States, Jonathon?
I mean, playing 2 games on the West Coast makes sense to me, and it's against quality opposition. You've got the Philippines and I think it's Mexico in the other game. So I think, and it's only to get to the West Coast from New Zealand, it's only a quick overnight flight. It's not too taxing. It's not too difficult on the body. The ladies are younger, so they're hopefully more physically adaptable. So it makes perfect sense to me, especially when you're playing Mexico. The Mexican team showed at the World Cup that they're no pushover. So quality games.
And may I just say, we played so well in that World Cup. It was just way beyond my expectations. Mm-hmm. Even though we didn't make the net round, I was very impressed by the end of it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an overflow between what the having a Phoenix women's team and having so many young players, plus the other internationals that had joined the team, and Natalie Lawrence, who the coach is. Her and Gemma get on really well at the Knicks, so they're able to transfer that team culture from the professional team across to the national team, which is so good to see. At least I'm pretty sure it's Natalie that's the under-20s coach.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of which, we can say that we are working on some follow-up interviews, and we're going to be getting hopefully some of the signings and re-signings on the show really soon. So, would you like to elaborate on that, Jack, quickly before we go?
Yeah, so we've been talking with Phoenix management and their media manager, and that we're really thankful to the Knicks that they're able to field our requests and give us access to some of the players. One name that's come up a couple of times, who we would be super keen to chat to, is Mackenzie Barry. Mackenzie she was away with the Ferns when they did the Europe tour. She came back. She's been playing with the Knicks, doing preseason stuff. She's now been selected to go over to the US with the Ferns. So we're fingers crossed. If we can get Mackenzie or even Lily Alfeld. So we'll be keen. We're keen to chat with each of the players. They all bring their own distinctive histories, their approach to the game, their worldviews. So watch this space. This one.
And for those that have been asking on our social media pages that are now open, you can find them at the BFG Podcast or BFG Podcast, depending on what platform you're on. Some require an S, some don't. So some of it will be podcast and some of it will be podcast with an S. So we'll get you updated on there, and we're also working on a follow-up with Gemma Lewis for those who have been asking on our platforms. So we're also trying to get that together, aren't we, Jonathon?
Yeah, we'd love to do another chat with Gemma. She was fantastic. Yeah, I just so much respect for Gemma, and really, again, hopeful that we can get her in sometime soon.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about hopefully their trip to Costa Rica and her views on how they did in the World Cup. So hopefully that'll come to the channel very soon. We should have a lot more growth now that the social medias are open, and we might even implement some live streaming very soon. So watch this space.
Cool.
Anything
Thanks,
you want to add?
Anything on Ed? I would just like to do a shout out to Brianna Edwards, who is the goalkeeper that we were talking about, who's just re-signed. For those people who are interested to know, Bree's been doing a lot of work in the off season. She played with the Bankstown team. I think Brianna's going to be a Ferns goalie in the future. I mean, I've big ups to Bree. I think she's amazing, and fingers crossed we can get her in here too. So keep an eye out for Bree Edwards. She's coming through.
Okay, so that's it for this episode. We will see you on the next one.
Cool. Over and out.